one thing that I know for sure is that children, your children specifically, will humble you. Okay? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, like, damn, was I like that growing up with my parents? Man, I feel they pain now. And then, even so, you might have one child or multiple children, and you take a look at each one of them, and you're like, yeah, that one is definitely me. Yeah. And sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet. You gotta take it because you gotta understand. Number one, some people might think that's your karma. Number two, life showing you a lesson of how you were with your parents, and it'll make you love them even more and come to an understanding and let them know, hey, I know I was a handful, or I know I was my mouth was a little slick, but you know what? Thank you for sticking in there with me. And I'm going through the same thing now. You got any advice? Or number three, dealing with your child or children will allow you to grow even more and mature. Although we're adults now, it doesn't mean you never stop learning, you never stop growing. And a lot of times you learn through your children. So I think it's important for parents to understand. I know when we were younger, and if we decided we wanted to have kids, we're like, man, I'll never do that with my kids. I'll never talk to my kids like that. I never whoop my kids. I never do this. Everything you say you never do, a lot of times you end up doing, unless you had like such a traumatic experience where you went totally opposite, right? A lot of things that go on within our community, say for instance, whoopings, people getting, I guess, children getting disciplined for certain things that they should not have done. I guess when you kind of look at millennials on down, you know, we've come with this thing where we're like, okay, we're not going to whoop our children. We're not going to do any of that. We're going to take another approach. You know what I mean? And sometimes you look at them children and be like, you should have got a whooping. I should have whooped you. You think about that. But in the long run, I feel that, you know, as society evolves, we also evolve and we understand some of the traumas and things that we went through. And even though it was called discipline or called learning or whatever it is, it may not have been the best way. Um, and now we see that there are different avenues to take in regards to dealing with our children. And we have to understand that although they are children, we're there to lead, we're there to protect, we're there to guide, and also listen. Because although they're children, it doesn't mean that they don't go through some of the same things that we go through. Like nowadays, children are experiencing things that adults experience. Depression, anxiety, sadness, grief, just a whole host of things. And you just have to learn how to reach out and talk and open the lines of communication with your children so they'll be able to feel comfortable with you and you understand where they're coming from. Now, is it true that sometimes you got to step in and be the parent authoritative and just be like, no, we're not doing this for their safety and their protection? Yes. But also, two things can be true at the same time. So, also, like I said, be able to listen, so you can come to an agreement and an understanding. And one thing that I experienced growing up with a lot of the elders, children are supposed to be seen and not heard. You're not supposed to speak. You need to just do what we say do. Don't ask no questions. I never really liked that. I never understood that because if you want me to learn, understand, and grow and understand where you're coming from, you need to tell me why. Okay, unless it's just imperative, it's a situation that's going down. You're like, come on, let's go. Okay, I understand that. But if you're trying to teach me and you're raising me up and helping me to be a productive citizen and an overall evolved person, then you have to explain things to me. And that's one of the things that I've learned with my children, to sit down and have conversations to explain things to them. And that's why we have family meetings. I try to almost every weekend, just to kind of get in each other's heads to understand what's going on. And one of the things that I always like to do, sometimes in the beginning, but I'd also like to end it off sometimes, say something good about somebody in this household. And that's how we lift each other up. And, we just kind of end with that upliftment, or sometimes we might play a game, or, just different things like that. But you really have to talk to your children. They will humble you, but they will also teach you as well.